This conference will now.
There you go. Okay. So if you see, this is our PC. This is cabinet. This is called a cabinet. Lot of people call the box as a CPU, but it is not a CPU. Okay, it is a cabinet or a chassis. Cabinet or a chassis. Inside that one, there is a motherboard and power supply is also there. Okay, hard disk, CD-ROMs, floppy disk are in a inside of the cabinet, and outside. So in a back side of that cabinet, you can see the connectors for a monitor connector, VGA connector, HDMI connector, PS by 2 connectors, USB connector, LAN connector, right? So in front panel, power button, reset button, USB connections, speaker connections. So these are all in the on the cabinet. Okay, so if you see, this is the empty cabinet. Only fans are there, and there is an SMPS. This is an empty cabinet. So this is about what is computer and all kind of stuff. Okay, so you can read it. So this is the devices usually we are use in a basic computer. Okay, motherboard, processor, RAM, ROM, hard disk, CD-ROM, floppy disk, switch more power supply, SMPS, keyboard, monitor, mouse. These are the basic components. So what is this processor? So processor is a very simple, is a brain of computer. So all the logical and arithmetic operations done by processor only. Arithmetic and logical process are done by processor only. So processor we call it as a CPU, central processing unit. This is how processor is look like. This is how processor is look like. You can see it's a small chip. We can insert in a motherboard. If you see the right hand side corner picture, so there is a person is inserting a processor to the motherboard in the socket. Okay, so again I'm going back. So here it is, different type of manufacturers are there. So major manufacturer is Intel and then AMD. First is Intel, next one is AMD. Okay, so most popularly we are using Intel type of motherboards. AMD is a secondary type of motherboards also we are using. VIA is also one of the world processor manufacturer. Of course, Motorola is mainly for mobile type of processors, like you know Cisco switches, routers, mobile phones. The processors are actually manufactured by Motorola only. So any processor is having a few properties are there. One is speed. Speed. For example, if you look at my processor, so I'm showing my processor. I'm going to task manager, performance, CPU, i3. So this is i5, right? i5 3230M, 2.6 gigahertz. What is 2.6 gigahertz? It is the speed of the processor, clock speed of the processor. That is speed of the processor you must verify. Next, bandwidth. Bandwidth means there is a different type of sorry, width. It means what bit type of processor you are using. 8-bit processor is there, 16-bit processor is there, 32-bit, 64-bit processor is there. Currently 64-bit processors are there. Of course there is a few 128-bit processors also there. Okay, so I'm not saying that is not there, but as a computer wise, laptops and computers currently from Intel and AMD. Okay, so we have a 64-bit processor only currently. Almost all new computers are 64-bit only, but you must verify few things about a when you are purchasing new laptop or a desktop. So compulsory. So I will show you how to check it. So take the processor. If it is an Intel, if it is an Intel, put your Intel website here. Okay, so Intel processor, which model you are using. For me, this is i5 3230 processor I'm using. Just only I'm okay. Put that number in here. Our Google understand it is a Intel one. So open this processor here. See number of cores, 2, number of threads, or 4. Number of cores, number of threads. Compulsory check it. What is number of cores? A single processor is divided into two or more parts, that is called a number of cores. This means a processor means physically it is a one processor, but core means we divide a processor into 2, 4, 8, 16, like that. Okay, so that is called a number of cores. So single processor act like a two processors. What is this thread? Thread means each core further divided. Each core is further divided into another two, like that. So then it is like a 4 core processor. My single processor act like a four processors. Four processors. Next, we have to verify cache memory. So I will tell what is this cache memory. Okay, so this cache memory is very useful for our processor running faster. Okay, so I will explain that cache memory again. Of course, how much wattage it is consuming. Next, we have to verify how much maximum RAM support. My processor support up to 32 GB, and this is the type of RAM we have to use it. I can't use a different type of RAMs here, only dedicatedly. So I have to use these type of RAMs only. DDR3 L or RS, either 1333 or a 1600 model. I have to use it. Compulsory, you have to verify, and it support two channel memory slots only, and this is 32 GB up to maximum. So currently I have a 12 GB RAM. Currently I have a 12 GB RAM. Okay. So 4 plus 8. So if I add a 16 plus 16, that's enough. So if I put a 8 plus 8, good, no problem. Like that, up to 32 it support. As per this. Okay. It is integrated graphics are there. So this is the integrated graphics are there currently. This is the new graphic processors are coming integratedly. UHD is a old type of graphics for a certain things, HD graphics. Okay, but this is a new one, Iris Xe graphics. Okay, it is like a integrated with your processor. Okay, so usually graphic cards also in a 64 32-bit processors. Next important is graphic based. Yeah, another important one is virtualization technology is there or not. So where is it? This one. Intel virtualization technology VTX must be there in your processor. Okay. Next, it is a 64-bit processor. So why we need this? Yes, is required for a VTX. Okay, to create a multiple virtual machines in our physical machines. Nowadays, I'm going to take the classes on my laptop only, so I can't put a two or three computers for my practical explanation for a certain batches. Certain practicals required minimum two or a three computers. Two computers compulsory required for a server and client model. Now, what happens here? I can't purchase it. I can't show you two computers. Okay, I need a more space and all. But in my physical machine, my laptop only, I will create two virtual machines, and in that one, I install one for a server, another for a Windows 10. Then I do practical, and I will show the students how to do it. So how it is possible? Virtualization technology only. It's available in 64-bit machines, and make sure it should be there also. And sometimes even a processor is 64-bit, virtualization technology won't be there. So verify must. It's a 64-bit. Like that, you can get a lot of details. These are the major details of a processor. So whenever you see a Intel processor, compulsory verify with the Intel website. Okay. So what type of processor it is? It is discontinued. Now it is not there. Okay. So number of cores, number of threads, and um, this is a speed and cache memory is a very good one, important one. Okay, next one is how much maximum RAM it will support, what type of RAM type it will support. Also you should verify that one. Is it integrated with the is it integrated with graphics or not? Means there's some graphic memories there or not. Okay, another one is it should be a 64 anyway, and Intel virtualization technology must be yes. So these are the things you must verify. Last time I purchased a processor that is a i3, this processor 9100F. So when you see F, be careful. When you see a processor with a lesser cost, be careful with it, because the processor does not have any graphic memory, no graphic memory. Okay, not at all. You won't get a display if you are using this one. You have to use the separate graphic card. See, number of cores are 4, number of threads are 4. It means it's a 4 core processor type only. Okay, 4 core processor type, but cache is a 6 MB. Cache is a 6 MB. And you can see maximum RAM support is 64 GB, but I already using 16 GB. So maybe in future I will add another 16 GB. And it support DDR4 2400 model RAM. Maximum RAM 64 GB, and type of memory is DDR4 2400. And if you see here, it is two memory cards you can put. It means 32 32, 16 16, or 16 32, 8 16, or 8 8, like that you can put it. Maximum two only. What are the combination it is mainly. Okay, so this is the socket type, means 1151. This is the socket type. So different processor having a different type of sockets also. Be careful when you purchase a processor. So you must purchase a motherboard also, so make sure that both should be compatible. And of course, Intel virtualization is yes, it is a 64-bit processor. That is the main part of my processor. Of course, you can check any processor. So any processor you can go and find the go to that particular processor. This is a Pentium processor, so low level processor. So gold processor or silver processor, you can go anything. So this is the latest gold processor. So we'll see. It's a dual core processor. But whatever the processor it is, you have to must go to the details. What is the around recommended cost that it is? Number of cores. It is a dual core, but threads are there. Support up to 128 GB. So RAM model is changed. See, DDR4. Earlier one is 2400, but this is 2666, and it contains integral graphics. See, UHD graphics 630. Earlier, it is not showing that one because no graphics inside. It support 4K also. Okay, and this is the processor socket model. So when you are purchasing this type of processor, you must know this model, and you have to purchase the relevant motherboard only. Of course, hyper threading is technology, and virtualization technology is also yes, means virtual machines you can able to create and run. And of course, it's a 64-bit processor. So this is about here how to look at a processor is very important. Okay, so I said I will explain the cache memory first. So we'll see that one. This is my processor. Okay, okay. This is my CPU. Every CPU contain mainly two major parts. One is ALU. ALU. So what is this ALU? Arithmetic logical unit. Arithmetic logical unit. So CPU means it do arithmetic and logical operations. To do that one, we need that unit. Next one is control unit. Control unit means how to take input, how to process it, like that. Entire management of a data flow will be done by control unit. Next one is cache memory. Next one is a cache memory. So this cache memory is in the edge of the your processor. it is integrated with the processor only. So this is called a cache memory. So this cache memory is integral part of your processor only. So in the CPU only it is there. What is the use of this cache memory? Normally, any instructions or a data instruction data from your input device or from hard disk or from maybe CD-ROM or maybe from other devices. Okay, so different devices, the inputs are coming, right? So here it is. Okay, different device input will come from maybe a keyboard, maybe a mouse, okay, maybe from printer, sorry, scanner, maybe from hard disk, maybe from CD-ROM. Okay, so a lot of inputs are coming from any place. It won't go to the CPU directly. There is a IO controller. There is a IO controller is control these inputs, understand input from where it is coming, understand the input and put it in a proper format. Okay, so then that is will given to RAM. Okay, that is given to your RAM only, main memory. That's why RAM is called as a main memory. Primary memory is RAM and ROM, but main memory is RAM. Okay, so this IO controller will take care of your incoming data and as well as outgoing things also. So it will understand the information and put it in a proper RAM and system understandable format, and then give it to the RAM. The RAM load the data to the CPU. Very simple. RAM load the data to CPU. Actually, it is not directly giving to CPU. First, it loaded to cache to CPU. First to cache to CPU. Why cache must be in the middle of main CPU and a RAM? Because RAM is a separate part of CPU, right? So RAM is different, CPU is different, separate components. Okay, but cache is an integral part of CPU. So there is a barrier between speed barriers, the speed differences between cache and sorry, CPU and RAM. There is a speed difference between a cache and RAM. So if you are using a cache, it speed up the process. It's easy to load and it easy to give to CPU and maintain a CPU speed and it not make the CPU as an ideal condition. So it is easy to give data from cache to CPU. Okay, like this it will happen. And of course, CPU done a process and it give the data to cache. Cache load the data into RAM, and RAM load the data into IO controller, and IO controller understand where to put the data. So on a monitor, yeah, on printer, or maybe a network connector. Okay, maybe for a network connection, or maybe some LED. Okay, or like that. So there is some kind of stuff is there, right? So whether it is a input or a output devices won't connect it to CPU directly. So earlier I showed a one bar diagram, so like that it won't happen. Everything should be connected to IO controller. IO controller understand the instructions and data from input devices and give it to the RAM. RAM is give it to the CPU, but not directly CPU to cache memory to CPU. And CPU once done a process, it will give it to cache it to RAM, and RAM is given the data to okay IO devices. So for example, why it is my CPU speed is 2.6 gigahertz. My CPU speed 2.6 gigahertz. My RAM speed is 1600 megahertz. It means 1.6 gigahertz. Okay, so So compulsory this clock speed and this clock speed almost different, right? So cache help you to match the speed. If mismatch the speed, problem will occur. Okay, this is a cache memory. So compulsory verify the cache memory, but here in this one, we have a different cache memories are there. That is also look at that one. Cache memories are built by SRAM technology. It is also a RAM. Cache memory is not a separate one. It is a RAM, but it is a SRAM type. Means it's static RAM. Static RAM is a very faster than a normal RAM like a DRAM. There is two type of RAMs are there mainly SRAM and DRAM. This is SRAM type. Okay, pure form of transistors are in use. That's why it is easily we can integrate it to CPU. Okay, it is a part of CPU. It is inside, or we can say inside of CPU, okay, not outside. Earlier days when we started a career, so I think it is a separate one because that statement is look like that one in a test work. So we thought it is separate. Where? So student asking, so where is the cache memory on my motherboard or a CPU? So we showed something and the people are satisfied because they don't know, we don't know. So that's even my starting point. Okay, I ask very seniors, like people will tell I'm a very senior, you are nothing in front of me. So I ask them, so sir, where is the cache here? Even they don't know. Even though they are very senior, they even then they are not sure about it. And I told them like I'm showing this thing as a cache memory. Is it a right or wrong? Of course, we are also showing same thing. Okay, so it is wrong completely. So cache memory is integral part of CPU. It is inside a CPU, so it is not separately of the CPU. Earlier P1, P2, that time Pentium 1, Pentium 2. So L3 caches separately they are attaching to the processor board. Separate board is there. That is a slot type of board is there. That is there is somewhere, but we don't see in that type of processor anyway now. Okay, so but it is generally it is. There is a level of catches are there. L1 type of catchy, L2 catchy, L3 catchy. So three catches are there. Mainly L1 catchy is very near to the CPU component. Okay, so it is inside, but so direct CPU from data go to L3, L3 to L1, L1 sorry, data go to RAM to L3, L3 to L2, L2 to L1 like that levels 3 to 1. Okay, and L1 to CPU like that. So L1 catchy, L2 catchy always usually standard one. If you want to see, you can see from here also. This is my L1 catchy 120K, L3 L2 catchy 512K. KB. Usually this is also mostly same for most of the systems. Okay. So L1 catchy two parts. One is the data catchy, another one is instruction catchy. INST is instruction catch. So data and instructions we are giving. So that is divided into two parts. So it means 64 KB for data, 64 KB for instructions type. Okay. L2 catch is a main connection. L3 is a optional for a processor. It may not be there. It may not be there. So it vary from one processor to another processor. So L3 catch is usually may vary from one processor to another processor. That's why, guys, when you are purchasing a processor or a laptop or a desktop, check the processor related information and make sure that. I think I close this. Okay, yeah, here it is there, cache memory. So you can see there somewhere. Yeah, here it is, 4 MB cache memory. Okay. Seventh generation, both are seventh generation. Either this is a 5 and this is okay. So L2 cache memory is changed here. Total L2 cache is 1 MB only, but where is the L3 cache? Okay, so that is very important. Even if you take AMD processor also, there is a cache memory, but make sure L1, L2, L3 cache memory should be there, and make sure it should be better. Higher the cache memory is always a better cache memory. Okay, for me, I think how much my cache memory L3 3 MB. Okay, in some processor it can be 4 MB. In some processor it can be a 6 MB. In some processor it can be a 12 MB. Okay, if you go to the server type of processor, it is higher than a normal type of processor. So higher is better because more data it can be load, more data it can be given to your CPU. That is about your cache memory. Compulsory verify your cache memory and compulsory verify 32 bit or a 64 bit. Okay. Tomorrow I will tell 64 bit, 32 bit. Okay. This is about your processor. Now we'll see about a RAM. Okay. So what is RAM? What is RAM? Very good. Okay. Random access memory. Meaning is you can take a data directly. Like I have a files in my system. Okay. So these are my files. I can select this file or this file or this file. I can read, execute, or delete the file. Okay, unlike your tape drives, so it is a 1 2 3 4 type, means you play a first song, then only second song, then only third song. But random means you can play third song, then fifth song, maybe then first song, like that. It is a random. Of course, it is nothing but a chip and different packages are there. So there is a primary memories are there, RAM and ROM. I think directly. Okay, yeah, I didn't write anything on my notepad, so this is another notepad. It is today's notepad. I didn't write anything. Okay, so guys, just go through and everything is in PPT. So go through PPT. If anything, I will modify in the PPT. Okay, so don't get confused between a PPT and that one for today. Next class, I will verify and I will get back to that one. So RAM and ROM both are primary memories only. So what is this RAM? Random access memory. Okay, so RAM is primary storage for CPU, integrated circuit temporarily store programs, instructions, and data. RAM is a volatile memory. RAM is a volatile memory, that is important. Okay, RAM is a volatile memory. Difference between RAM and ROM. I think RAM and ROM is there, but if you want, we'll see. So just for our understanding, I'm typing in here RAM, ROM. Okay, it is a volatile memory. What is volatile memory? When power off means power is gone, or a turn off the computer, data in RAM gone, means data loss. Data loss or a lost. So data will be gone from your device, from devices. Okay, and RAM, ROM is a non-volatile memory. ROM is a non-volatile memory. So even when power off, data remains in device. Okay, so that is your RAM and ROM. That is the main importance of RAM and ROM. But here it is for CPU, RAM interacts with the CPU directly, not any other devices. So main important is RAM directly interacts with the CPU. Any data go through RAM only. Okay. Mm. RAM is a temporary storage device. RAM is a temporary data storage. What is temporary? A lot of people said, "Sir, it is a temporary, permanent." So, what is the meaning of a temporary, permanent in this scenario? We load a data either from CPU or a hard disk or from anything. We load a data to CPU and instruction to the CPU through RAM only. So, RAM take it and give it to the CPU. That's it, completed. Just like last time I given one example, so I got that example. Very simple. I have a big well or a sump in my home. Okay, there's a well or a sump, something water is there, and there is a some very big tub is there like this. So I am using a bucket to fetch the water. So I'm fetching the water. I took the water and I pour water into this one. Is my bucket storing any water inside? Tell me. If anybody understand this example, what I'm doing, I'm fetching the water and pouring water into. Okay, I'm fetching water and I'm pouring water into some other tub. Is my bucket storing any of the water? Hmm? Tell me. It is storing, but also removing. It can able to store, but it won't store for a long period of time, because if I don't pour, I can't fetch more water, right? Same thing goes for a RAM also. Once it is given to the CPU and remove the data and fetch more data from the IO devices, input output devices. Okay, so both the side, like it fetch the data from CPU, okay, to the RAM given to data your IO controller. That's it. So it keep loading the data and giving the data. So that is, it's a very temporary. Temporary does not mean just it is store and delete the data. It is simply passing the data through RAM only. So compulsory. So this is the one of the example I want to easy to give to understand RAM means. RAM is a temporary storage device. ROM is a permanent storage device. ROM is a permanent one. It's a tempo temporary storage, and here it is permanent storage. Okay, this is the permanent storage. Why this is keep. Okay, so RAM as a different type of RAMs are there. Actually only two type of RAMs are there. One is static RAM, another one is a dynamic RAM. Static RAM and dynamic RAM. So static RAM also we call it as the SRAM, and we use it as a cache memory. And static RAM actually use pure form of transistors. That's why it is auto refreshing is there. Okay, it is a auto refreshing is there. It refresh the data. Even you don't need to power off the machine to remove the data. So automatically remove the data because it's auto refreshing. You remove the data and reload the data. You remove the data, reload the data. That is the SRAM will do automatically. So that's why they are using for a cache memory for CPU purpose. DRAM is a slower than SRAM because it is cheaper also, because we are using transistors and capacitors, resistors kind of stuff. That's why it is cost is less. SRAM is very costly compared to DRAM. Means it's a dynamic RAM. Dynamic RAM won't auto refreshing technology. There is separate circuit we have to maintain for a refresh the DRAM. DRAM refresher you have to maintain. Of course, what are the very basic hardware is we don't need, just DRAM, dynamic RAM. So in a dynamic RAM, there is a separate different RAMs are came up. So one is a RAM. DRAM is slower than SRAM, but SDRAM is very good as compared to DRAM. Synchronous dynamic RAM. Dynamic RAM, synchronous dynamic RAM. Another type of RAMs also came from the DRAM, that is called ECC. Error correction type of RAM is also there. ECC RAM, EDO RAM, VRAM, like that. There are a lot of RAMs are there. VRAM means video RAM, not virtual RAM. It is a video RAM. Okay, for a usually graphic cards we use a graphic processor and RAM in the graphic card. So that is called a VRAM. SDRAM further develop into DDR. SDRAM further develop into um, DDR. And this DDR, now we are calling this DDR as a DDR double data rate. DDR double data rate. Now this DDR, first DDR is DDR SDRAM. Now next DDR is DDR2. That's it. Next DDR is DDR3. Next DDR4. So current version of DDR is DDR4. Current version of DDR is DDR4. Okay. In a market, DDR4 is there. In a DDR also different type of DDRs also there, like a 2400, 3200, 2666, like that. So you have to check, match the DDR to other. So this is about static RAM, cache memory kind of stuff. You can read it. And these are the type of dynamic RAMs. What are the basic pin structure? It is a old PPT, that's why it is, does not have a DDR4. This is the RAM, how it is look like this. Okay. Yeah, I didn't add one more thing here. This is a type of dynamic RAMs. That is a good thing, but it does not have packages. This is does not having packages. Happen. So DDR4. Okay. Type of packages. Packages is a package, or packages are types. Package is also enough. Okay, any name you can put it. So first type is dip. Okay, dip means, IC type. So if you look at the IC, then it is a dip format. Okay, so initially, and still, if you are no microcontroller, microprocessor kind of stuff, onboard RAMs are there. Okay, even a Raspberry Pi. Okay, onboard RAM is there, so you didn't see any RAM is inserting. That is because enhanced into board only. SoC type, so system on chip, means a processor inside a RAM processor is also there. Okay, so like that is also search. So where is the RAM? Don't, no need to search in some places. Okay, in your mobile phone on board it is maybe built. Okay, this one package is dip, like it's look like a IC. Next one is SIM. What is SIM? Single inline memory module. Okay, single inline memory module. Okay, this is a one type of package. Next one is DIMM, dual inline module. Okay, dual inline memory module, single inline memory module, dual inline memory module. What is the difference? Is if you take a RAM and RAM pin numbers are a different one. So lot of people single inline means a RAM one side only the chips are there. Okay, in dual inline two side chips are there. No, it is not correct. So if you take a RAM, in the bottom there is a copper lines are there. If you see these RAM types, in bottom you can see the copper contacts are there. No, copper or a gold contacts are there. So in a sims, if you take small one, so you will find a sim like a 172, and you are inverted it again 172. That is the number it will there, because this side pin and other side of the RAM pin is same, one single contact only. Okay, and in dual inline it is not like that. It is a 192. If you reverse it, 93, 184, like that means this pin and other side same side means other side same pin is not the same, it is a separate pin. So that is a dual inline memory module. If you don't understand, still okay, no problem. Okay, so don't worry about it. Okay, it will take time, like you have to see the physically, you can't explain directly, or maybe how to bring one RAM both sim and dim, then only I can show you on a screen with a camera. Okay, then so the rim is also there. Rim is now it's okay to tell, no problem. Rambus inline. Rambus inline memory module. So what is this Rambus inline memory module? RAM, this type of model, it is dim only. Rim is nothing but a dim only. Only there is a heat sink on the RAM. Heat sink on the RAM. That is called a rim. Next one is SODIMM. SODIMM. It is also a DIMM package, dual inline memory module, but it's little bit different. Small, small outline DIMM. Okay, small outline DIMM. It is used for laptops. Okay, so where we use laptop, mini PCs. Okay, because few people don't know what is a mini PC also, or we are using this type like a laptop type of RAMs only, and a mini PC is also there. Just if you go to some few things is like here. Okay, um, RAM laptop. Okay, if you see this RAM, these RAMs are a small in size. These RAMs are a small in size, is a compared to regular RAM. If you see the regular RAM, it is a uh, um, little bit bigger, means it's like a straight kind of stuff. Like this is the regular RAM with a heat sink. Okay, so that is a regular desktop RAMs. These are laptop RAMs. SODIMM packages. SODIMM one. 260 pin memory. Okay, so that is about your sodium RAM. And I said mini computers, right? Mini PCs. Mini PC means this is mini PC. And Intel mini PCs also there. This is Asus barebone PCs. It contains a processor, means motherboard, processor enhanced one, and connections also there. Only thing is you may have to insert RAM and hard disk or SSDs. You have to insert it. Okay, sometimes it comes with the both the things, so you have to verify. So how much RAM you have to insert you want it. Okay, so you have to verify it. So like this, see, automatically it said this is the one. So totally it's along with your SSD 500 GB and RAM 8 GB, and this is 28,000. Okay, so totally this is the cost. So mini size, you can in a palm system is fitted. But only thing is you have to insert a RAM. Which type of RAM? Sodium type of RAM, laptop RAMs only. This is SSD. I will tell SSDs anyway. Okay, so these are the packages and these are the types. Of course, there is a DDR4 RAM is also there, that is missed here. Okay, this is about your RAM. Of course, we have to go with ROM also. Just small introduction. Already I told ROM. ROM is simply a chip. ROM is a simply a chip. Is integrated part of motherboard. ROM is directly on motherboard. So if you take a motherboard, so in this motherboard only it is integrated. Okay. Now we can't able to find where it is also. It is somewhere it is located. So physically it should be known. Okay, new type of motherboards, no? So this is land guard something given. If you see the world one, so then you can see. I will show you in the pictures only. Like this is a how your ROM chip is look like. So ROMs are in a different type anyway. First of all, RAM and ROM is there. So ROM is also primary memory but not a main memory. But still ROM is very important for your system boot up. ROM verify all the devices. ROM will verify all the devices on your system. Okay, and ROM is a permanent memory. ROM is a permanent memory, non-volatile memory. Of course, in a ROM also there is a readable, writable is there. Type of ROMs are PROM, EPROM, kind of stuff is. Okay. Remaining part like a ROM, I will tell again now. Just give me a 2 3 minutes. A lot of people are dropped. I don't know. So we'll see. So first of all, I will stop up to here and relax. Don't disconnect it. Not required to disconnect. Just relax.